Hello, Walton County. This is Mike Sledge, running for Walton County Sheriff. I'm here today with Allison. We're going to talk a little bit about the life of Linda Yearwood, which is her mother, and the incarceration of Linda at Walton County Sheriff's Department. So tell me a little bit about your mother.
She was 50 years old when she died. She has lived in Walton County her whole life. She was a drug addict, a recovering drug addict, I should say, because she'd been clean for like the past 2 months. She's had her fair share of dealings with Walton County Sheriff's Office, in trouble, out of trouble, however you see it. She was known for drug use. That was her name. You hear Linda Yearwood, you hear drug addict. You know who she is based off of the name.
Off the name. So you think they kind of just honed in just based off of Linda Yearwood versus
Linda Yearwood, the drug addict, not Linda Yearwood,
the person?
the person.
Okay. So tell me, what was your mother like?
She was really, she was good as gold. She would give anybody anything. She'd give you the shirt off her back even if it meant she was naked. She went above and beyond for everybody. She always asked, she was always late, always late. She was never on time for nothing. She had a chaotic life. It would go back and forth, started when she was young and it ended the day she died. But from start to finish, it was pure chaotic. Like, it was just all the time. It was like her world was crashing in on her. And a lot of it stemmed from stuff that she did. The doing the drugs got her kids taken from her. Doing drugs got her arrested. Doing drugs got her DUI and her license suspended. It was drugs. That is Mama. When somebody asked me about her, it's not how good of a person she was, but it was drugs, how bad they affected her.
So, as you said, she grew up in Walton County all of her life.
She did.
Dealing with Walton County Sheriff's Department, did they ever come to aid or help with any kind of rehab program?
No. They not once helped her with any kind of rehab program. She was used as an informant. She would tell on someone and get out of trouble. It happened over and over and over. Instead of saying, okay, I'll let you turn in someone, use this person to get another. I get that. That's how you cut down on everything. But what happens to the small drug addict after you get that dealer? What happens to her? You just let her go so she can go find it from somebody else because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You just let her go. You don't try to get her treatment. You don't seek treatment for her. You don't give her treatment while she's in your jail. I mean, they never reached out to her. If they reached out to her, they came with a warrant signed.
Was your mother ever violent?
I've seen her violent. I've seen her enraged. I've seen her combative. She was self-centered.
Okay.
It was always about her, so if she didn't get her way, she'd raise her voice. She'd pitch a fit, or as growing up, I've seen her like in domestic disputes with people. She wasn't violent to the point to where she's going to run somebody over with a car, shoot somebody, or stab somebody. It was more of her mouth.
Right. Do you think a lot of it just her personality or the drug usage, you think, more?
A combination of the both, because I have a smart mouth, a very smart mouth. I get it from her.
Okay.
I'm not on drugs. She was, but the drugs altered her.
Okay.
She knew what she was doing. Like, when she was sober, she still had the smart mouth, but she knew just how to say it to where it wasn't offensive. It was...
She teetered the line, basically, kind of.
Yeah, she walked a fine line.
Okay. So, back in August, we had an incident with Linda. Tell me about it.
On August the 20th, which was a Saturday, her and her boyfriend had got into an argument. She was maced with pepper spray and he was hit with a cooler. He maced her with the pepper spray. She hit him with the cooler. The cops were called. Mom left. She went with my grandma, I think, to eat. Came back home. I was talking to her on the phone for hours. That day she was telling me like how she was tired of living like this. She's been trying to get clean. You know, her life's crashing in on her. Probation's breathing down her throat. Her and Tony had been arguing. Like, they had a rough patch in a relationship. They've been together for 9 years. They had been arguing, so that was weighing on her really heavily. She just didn't want to live anymore.
Right.
She'd 50 years of being addicted, and she didn't want to live anymore.
The question I have for you, because we're bringing up probation,
Mm-hmm.
and she's been on probation for how long now?
She's been on probation for a few months. I'm not sure exactly how long. I want to say since like April of this year.
Current, no
Yeah.
problems with probation or anything like that?
She had a problem with an ability to pay.
Okay.
She drew Social Security, $630 a month.
Okay.
Rent's $450. Water, gas. I mean, she didn't even have a vehicle, so it wasn't leisure money. It was literally money to live, so she
Live,
couldn't
right.
pay.
She's the average normal person just trying to live and make it happen.
But I think that she was only one payment behind. I believe she was only
Okay.
one payment behind when she died.
But nothing to a point where probation is coming knocking in doors and looking for her or nothing like that, right?
She had came to visit with us and didn't go to probation, but the probation officer was aware of it.
Okay.
The probation officer knew where she was at, and that was that.
Okay. Sorry for stopping you.
That's
So
fine.
you were saying she didn't want to live.
Yeah, she was just like, I'm done. She was like, I'm addicted. I can't get over it. She was genuinely trying, like trying to get over this addiction, but it's thrown in her face. You pull out of her driveway and she drives by the jail. Flash, but like it's everywhere. Every way she turned, she was getting blocked.
Right.
Go to probation office. They want a drug screen. Okay, well, you're shoving it down her throat again. Like it's like you're accusing her of something that she's not doing. And then Sunday, which was the next day, the 21st, she called me to tell me happy birthday. I was talking to her and still the same demeanor. I love you, happy birthday, but I don't want to live anymore. Like, I'm tired of this life, tired of not having nothing, 50 years of life and have nothing to show for it. I talked to her for a little while. We were eating dinner while I was talking to her, so I got off the phone with her. And a little while later, I got the phone call that she was in jail. It was probably about 15 minutes later. I got the phone call that she was in jail.
Did she tell you why?
She didn't call me. Someone else actually called me. I knew the story as to what happened because she told me about it on Saturday. But I was under the impression Saturday that she wasn't going to jail. Everything was going to be fine. That it was just an argument between her and Tony, and that's what she told me.
Okay.
And she asked me to come get her. It was like 9:30 at night, and I was like, well, I'm not going to come get you tonight, but I'll come get you tomorrow, like late tomorrow afternoon. And I talked to her Sunday, and she didn't want me to come get her because everything was fine. Everything had calmed down. Tony was home. Everything was fine. She didn't tell me about her jumping out of the moving vehicle.
Okay. From there, when was the next time you heard from your mom?
1:30 in the morning on Monday morning.
And she said what to you?
She didn't say anything. She left me it was a blank voicemail from the jail.
Okay. Continue.
When I finally talked to her on the phone, which was probably about 1:45 that Monday morning, she was telling me, like, she was really calm, collective, and everything. This was while she was at Walton County. Ashley, my sister, works at the jail.
Okay.
And she was talking about how Ashley was there and while she was in the jail, and she didn't want Ashley to see her like that, all that good stuff. And everything was fine. She's like, I'm getting a bond tomorrow. Come, will you come bond me out? Of course, I'm going to go bond her out,
Right.
So later that day, it was probably 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning, she called me again. okay, I have my bond. It was $450 or so. Will you come get me? And I was like, yeah, I live in Eatonton, so it takes me an hour and about 15 minutes to get here. So I was like, it's going to take me about an hour. And she was like, okay, right now I don't have a probation hold, which is good. That means I can get her out. So I leave Eatonton and I come armed with a checkbook, go in the jail, and they're like, no, she has a probation hold. You can't get her out. So I went to talk to the probation officers. They said she's going to do probably about 30 days, long enough for her to see the judge for the probation violation charge, and then she'll probably be released. On the way back to Eatonton, she called me again. I talked to her. I told her that. I told her, I was like, they won't let me out. They won't let me get you out. You know, you're going to be in there for at least 30 days, and then she was going to Newton County.
And why did they say they were going to transfer her to Newton County?
They didn't even tell me that she was going to be transferred to Newton County.
Okay.
I knew she was going to be transferred because my sister worked there, and that's like what my sister says is protocol. That
kind of conflict, basically.
Yeah, like a conflict of
family
interest.
member there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did you feel about this whole incident so far?
As far as the arrest itself, it strikes nerve because you have an igloo cooler that's about this big around, a beverage cooler that strikes somebody in the back versus pepper spray. But yet the person armed with the igloo cooler is the primary aggressor. To me, it was more of an affray type situation. Two mutual parties engaging in this dispute, whether it was domestic or two best friends, however you want to look at it. You know, it was they were both engaged in this. So my entire thing about it is, if one's going to be arrested, why not arrest both or not arrest them at all? Her boyfriend the whole time on one of the videos is asking for, all he wanted was a TPO and wanted her to move out of his house. That's all he wanted. Legally, to make someone move out of a residence, she'd been there for 9 years, you have to go through an eviction process. That was their way of evicting her.
Gotcha.
She's going to be in jail for 30 days. All the property becomes null and void because it's left there longer than 30 days. She doesn't get anything. She gets thrown out on the streets with nothing after 30 days, you know?
All right.